Welcome to week 2 of our November mystery box knit along. This is what your piece should look like after you finished week 1, and now we're getting into the lattice stitch. We have a very helpful graph on our blog, so if you feel more comfortable working from a graph, please use that. There are instructions to this pattern in the description of this video. However, we are not going to go stitch by stitch here. That may get too confusing, that might just be a lot. But we are working the lattice pattern, and as you can see, it moves really well with this stitch combination. But it's very closed. So we're going to work less of the lattice pattern, and we're going to use it to break up our 2 different lace patterns. Begin with a knit row, increasing by 1 stitch. After you increase by 1 stitch, you should be at 46 stitches. The lattice is going to work over 46 stitches. I'm going to increase by doing a knit front and back, and then just continue to the end of your row. In the next row, this is where we really start to set up the framework for our lattice stitches. So when you work a lattice, you're essentially making vertical and horizontal lines with your knits and your purls. Row 2, we're going to begin our stitches. We're going to start with our garter stitch edge, and then we're going to work our first piece of lattice. Now this all should be in a knit stitch. It's going to look like a purl on the opposite side. Now where we want our lattice to move up and down, see how these purls are horizontal stripes. Where we want our lattice to work up and down, we're going to do our purl stitches because we're on the wrong side of the work. And that's going to make our lattice move up and down, or vertical. We're going to go back to knitting across. Continue working in pattern. Once again, the instructions for week 2 of this knit along are in the description of this video. There's also a link to our blog, which also has the pattern included, as well as the graph that we showed earlier in this video. We're finishing up our garter stitch edge here. And let's take a look. So do you see where our horizontal stripes and our vertical stripes start coming through? We're working a combination of knits and purls to create some purl stitches that work horizontal, some knit stitches that work vertically, and then to make sure that those lines really pop, we're going to work some moss stitch in between. So take a look at the finished work of week 2. Here we have the moss stitch that's in between. We have our horizontal purl stitches. We're only doing 1 repeat for week 2. Stay tuned for our next lace pattern in week 3. Thank you for joining us for our mystery box knit along. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media profiles, and happy crafting!